All right. I have been on semaglutide now for 4 weeks. Is everything going all right? Am I okay? Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Andre. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. If you are returning, thank you as much as always. Let's try that again. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your coming back. All right, so let's dive into my experience and what all this fun has been happening with me on semaglutide. Now, again, I keep saying semaglutide, but more common names would be Ozempic, Wegovy. You may also hear people talk about GLP-1s. All right, so I started on the 2.5 milligram dose and took my first shot on May 21st. As of last night, June 18th, I had completed 4 sets of doses and I took my 5th dose last night. I titrated, I had to look it up to the 5 milligram dose. What the heck does titrate mean? And I'll just read the definition here. It says, refers to the administration of a medication over time, starting with the least dosage required for improving the medical condition. My PCP used the term and I had to go, I don't know what that word means. I got to go look it up. All right, so I feel fine. And I'm very hopeful that there will be no new side effects as the dosage increases. This video may run a little bit long, so I'll ask you to hang in there with me if you're interested in an update on this kind of stuff. But I've been on it a month. There's a lot to cover, and I anticipate that future updates will be more concise. But here we go. So let's back up a bit. When I started the semaglutide 4 weeks ago, the first couple of days I felt nothing odd. I even remarked to my wife that I wonder if it's working. I thought I felt a bit of a reduction in my appetite, but that could have been in my head. Who knows? I took the first shot on a Wednesday night, and all was fine on Thursday and Friday. However, when I woke up on Saturday, I had this awful pain, what I'm describing as being in my sternum area, right, below your chest here, in the dead center. It felt as if I had overeaten, or maybe I had severe gas pains. I'm not sure what it was, but it was uncomfortable. It woke me up about 5 a.m. that morning. I tried Tums, Pepto-Bismol, Gas-X. My mother suggested something called Florastor. Nothing seemed to improve things and to provide any relief. I was in significant discomfort until about 5:30 p.m. that day, so for like 12 plus hours. It was only then that I finally felt an ease. Thankfully, the appetite suppression aspect of the medication was working, so I didn't eat much that day, but I didn't feel like, ravenous or really super hungry or anything. Thankfully, that was the only episode of that, and it has not recurred, thankfully. Now, the Friday night before this uncomfortable Saturday, I had gone to the movies, seen the new Tom Cruise movie, Mission Impossible, and I had gotten a medium popcorn. I ate most of that. And then when I came home for dinner, I had a relatively large salad, which I have eaten many times in the past. Both of these occurred after 6 p.m. So I just wondered when I woke up on Saturday if perhaps I had overeaten, it's just too much with the new medication or what, but I don't know. Even if I had, I would not have expected to still be, I figured things would have digested by then. It would be like the next day at 5:30, 6 p.m. that I would still be having, issues. So I'm not sure if this was that issue or not. I'm not a doctor, I'm just guessing. Either way, I was glad to finally be rid of the discomfort. I weigh myself daily, and by the end of the first week, I had lost 7.9 pounds. Woo-hoo! I was not experiencing any of the side effects that people typically talk about, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, etc. None of that. My appetite felt suppressed, and my biggest issue was adjusting to a new diet where my focus was on protein. That's the big thing on these medications is protein, protein, protein. Due to my congestive heart failure diagnosis a couple years ago, I am really accustomed to reading the little white labels that you see on most foods there, and I'm really looking in there for what the sodium level is. I've got to watch my sodium level. But now I'm working on proteins. I'm reading how much protein does this thing have, how much sodium does it have. That has been a bit of a challenge. I'm a creature of habit when it comes to eating. I typically eat the same stuff repeatedly. When I find something I like, I just keep eating that thing, and I have a relatively small list of things that I know that I like, so I eat those. Now I need to experiment with even more things because getting the protein in has been problematic, and I've just got to expand my menu of things that I enjoy eating, or at least that I find acceptable to eat. So I want to take a quick break here and show you some examples of what I've been eating. All right, so there has been some interest in, what have I been eating since I've been on the semaglutide? So I want to show some examples and tell you why I'm on certain things. So for example, Atkins protein shakes, this is 23 grams of protein. I usually cannot take that all at once, so I do it half and half. I have half with breakfast, another half later on in the day. Good snack, this Colby Jack cheese here. This is 6 grams of protein per, they're just cheese sticks. So you have one stick and it's 6 grams. My breakfast is usually a sandwich made up of, I like this Nature's Own Hawaiian bread here. Each slice is 2 grams of protein, and I usually put the egg salad on that, which is 8 grams per serving. I only account for 4 though, because they say that this is like 3.5 servings, but I typically get 7 or 8 out of it. So I guess I'm using less than would be the full amount. There, Chobani blueberry yogurt is 12 grams. This is Greek yogurt with blueberry in it. Each night I typically have one of these protein bar from Hershey's, flavor that I like. This is like cookies and cream. This is 18 grams of protein. I have various sushi dishes. This changes depending on what they have on sale that day, or what I feel for, whatever, but it's usually shrimp or tuna or salmon or some such, and those are typically very high in protein. This particular one is 17 grams of protein. Now, I typically, this size, I'm only eating like half of that per meal. So I'll have half, and then I'll have the other half later. Recently we tried sardine sandwiches. So we got, sardines. Most seafood is high in protein. I guess most meats, period, but I'm pescatarian, I think I've said before. So I don't eat meat, but I do eat seafood. Here's another salmon that my wife found. This has 20 grams of protein, as you see there. So, there are a lot of things, but what you're looking at here might get me through the day, although I might not be able to finish all of this in one day. It's a struggle to get the 120 grams of protein in per day. But we just wanted to share an example of some of the things that I have been eating while on the semaglutide. I drink lots of water, and I occasionally enjoy a salad, some trail mix as well, and a little nibble here and then of a small slice of cake or piece of pie or whatever it is. And I'm talking about really tiny, when we went to a birthday party or something like that. I am reluctant to eat too many of those types of things though, because they don't have any protein in them, or they don't have significant protein in them, and everything is about protein. I'm doing my best to try to get 100 to 120 grams of protein per day, and I just wasn't expecting it to be that much of a challenge, but we're getting there. So week 2, let's move on to week 2 here. Most of week 3, as a matter of fact, things went fine. All was good, except towards the end of week 3, I began to feel, I'm using the term bloated, not in the sternum area now, but now down more into my stomach area. So tried the same remedies, Tums and Gas-X and stuff. They didn't really feel like they resolved the issue. And I'm not even sure if I had gas, but I could feel, while I was moving around and stuff. So I assumed that that's what it was. That kept up for several days and into the start of week 4. And then finally towards the middle of week 4, things really seemed to calm down. All right, so I would send updates to my PCP as they had requested via our patient portal that we have, and let them know about any side effects. So I did report both of those instances to them. All right, so let's get to the thing most people are interested in. How much weight have you lost? I weigh myself daily, like I said, which is a habit that goes back way before I started on semaglutide, and I've just kept it up. Those data are synced to my Apple, through my Apple Watch, to the health app on my phone, and I've also started using an app called Shotzi, to which I input when I take my shots and my weight every day, and it provides a nice graph and some data to me. The key thing being how much weight was lost each week, and I had a very interesting first 4 weeks, not what I was expecting. The first week, I think I said before, I lost 7.9 pounds. Wow, fantastic. I thought, great, I'm off to a great start. However, the second week, I only lost 0.9 pounds. Not what I was expecting. And then in week 3, I lost a further 1.4 pounds. Also, not what I was expecting. Because remember, at this point, I have modified my diet. I am, taking in a lot less food and so on. I thought that I'd be losing significantly more weight, but that's okay. And then week 4, I actually gained a pound. That was kind of weird. Certainly didn't see that coming. So overall, total 9.2 pounds lost over the first 4 weeks. This is on the 2.5 milligram dosage of the semaglutide. And according to Shotzi, my weekly average is 2.3 pounds lost, which is good. I try not to be disappointed in that. I'm just surprised in that I thought the weight loss would be more linear, and I was kind of surprised to see things falling down and then going back up and so on. Kind of weird. All right. On various days, I will see the scale say that I gained 0.5 pounds, or I lost 0.4 pounds, or I gained 0.1 pounds, or I lost 0.3 pounds. It's just kind of a seesaw, up and down. That is a bit annoying, but I'm doing my best to keep focused on the long-term goals. And that is not the day-to-day machinations, but the overall progress that one is making in total. It can be challenging, however, sometimes. I'm having trouble getting my exercise routine going. My preferred method is simply walking around my neighborhood. I had previously been up to 2 miles 3 or 4 times a week, but now I'm only I've only gone twice since this started here. I was having a bit of plantar fasciitis. That seems to be resolved, but I just haven't been able to get back into the routine yet. I'm still working on that. Also, when I started back on those 2 times that I did go, I'm walking considerably slower than I had been before the bout of plantar fasciitis. But, baby steps, we're still trying to get there. All right, so far I am pleased. The shots are quite simple to give myself. That had been one of my concerns when this thing first started. I keep hearing about people taking their insulin injections and so on and having to stick themselves, and I didn't know how that would go. It's really simple and, no issues whatsoever. And like I said, the side effects have been minimal, so I'm pleased with how things have been going 4 weeks in. My appetite appears to be reasonably well suppressed so far, and I'm not feeling hungry, which is great. I think I said on here before many times, my wife said, "Did you eat?" And I have to ask myself, I literally can't remember if I did or not, which is cool, as opposed to being driven by your stomach saying, "Okay, go get something, go put something in your mouth." Everything's working out okay there. However, like I said, I wish the weight loss was more linear, as this plateauing, which is what I'm calling this, having just been stuck in 1 pound range for 3 weeks or so, and the up and downs and stuff, I could do without that. Just nice, steady weight loss over time, but that's not happening. All right. So that's it for this one. I ask that you share with anyone you think that this content may resonate with, and subscribe if you haven't yet, are interested in more of this. I'll be having additional updates as we go forward. And also, please consider leaving a comment. Questions. Are you on a GLP-1 for weight loss? Are you considering it? How has your experience been so far? I'd really love to hear what input other folks have who have been on this medication, who are considering it. Thank you so much. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for stopping by, and as always, in Elite Times.